Hey everyone, in this video I want to go over my lazy Pinterest case study of 2021 to show you exactly how I'm using Pinterest to drive traffic to my blogs. One of my goals for this video is to make it as clear and simple with an over-the-shoulder demonstration for you, because I think with Pinterest there's a lot of people talking about it, very few people giving very clear instructions of exactly how to do it. So I'll move over to a visualization here because I want it to be visual and I want you to actually have a very clear understanding of my strategy. But just before I walk through it for you, I would say I am not a Pinterest expert and I don't really have much evidence or huge achievements to be presenting to you right now. This is a case study where I'm starting from the beginning, and I will continue to do videos over the coming months to show how it's working or perhaps not working. So you can follow me, or if this is a couple of months time, just go to the YouTube channel Niche Safari and search for Pinterest, and I'm sure there'll be updates of this case study. But I think that this strategy is going to be a really nice, straightforward one that many people can use because it's not very complicated. And this is the strategy. Essentially, I'm going to create a blog post, and every time I press publish on a blog post, I'm going to jump over to Canva and create 3 pins. Each pin will have a unique picture, a unique title, and a unique description, but they will all have something to do with the blog post. So one of the pins might have its title being the H1 of the blog post, just the title of the blog post. Another one might be an H2 title, so it's still a keyword, but not the exact same keyword. And the third one just might be another variation of the keyword, so that they're all unique titles, all unique pictures, and they'll all have a unique description as well. The first pin I will publish straight away. The second pin I will schedule for 7 days time using the Pinterest native scheduler. So I can do all of this within maybe 10 minutes or less, because I don't have to wait 14 days and then go into Pinterest manually and repin it. I can do it straight away using the Pinterest native scheduler. And then the third one, again, unique picture, unique title, unique description, and I'll schedule it for 14 days later. So all my 3 pins are a week apart from one another. So I'll just go over some answers to some questions that are typical of Pinterest and what my approach is, remembering that I'm not Anastasia blogger or the Simple Pin Media podcast or any of those experts at Pinterest. This is my lazy Pinterest strategy for lazy people who just want a very simple way to use Pinterest. So first question is, how will I make the pins? I will make them in Canva. In a second, I'll give you a over the shoulder of how I make them. It takes like literally 3 minutes per pin. How many pins will I make per post? 3 pins per post. How will I schedule the pins? I will use the Pinterest native scheduler and not Tailwind. So the next question, why will I not use Tailwind? Firstly, it costs money. I know it's just a little bit of money, but it's just another tool that I'm going to have to learn to get my head around. Tailwind's also a little bit more advanced. It does things like repinning pins and all this extra stuff that I'm trying to push all the fluff away and find a really lean, simple Pinterest strategy that doesn't need anything else apart from 3 pins per post, separating them out by a week each. Another reason I'm not using Tailwind as well is because a lot of people who use Tailwind have had their accounts banned recently, so I'm trying to avoid that. Don't you need to do 15 pins or repins a day? So it's really common that they say, all the experts are saying, you need to do 15 pins every single day in order to get traction on Pinterest. Personally, if I could do 15 pins a day, I would, but it's just, to me, it feels as if it's a waste of time. I also have been talking to several people on Discord and on Reddit, and they've been saying that they are having plenty of perfectly good success getting 5 to 10% of their overall traffic from Pinterest over to their blog just by doing 1 pin per post, and that's just all they do. So even though all these pros and experts are saying 15 pins per day is what you should do, I'm trying to do a lean strategy. It may not be as wildly successful as those people, but I want Pinterest to be like 10 minutes per post. Do it, get it done, and move on. So this is a leaner strategy. I'm not interested in doing 15 pins per post. It's too much. What are fresh pins? So I'm following the fresh pin strategy. So essentially recently, Pinterest rolled out a update of their algorithm where repinning old pins to various different boards and whatnot has become less successful because the algorithm prefers fresh pins. So fresh pins have unique titles, unique pictures, and unique descriptions. And you can see that if you go back to the strategy visualization, all 3 of my pins will have those unique picture, title, and description, so that they will all be fresh pins. So I will not be repinning old pins. So that's one strategy. If you wanted to use Tailwind, you can set it so that you pin the pin, and then a couple of months later, it'll recycle that pin and repin it again. I'm not doing that. I understand that that's a more advanced strategy, but for my strategy, as I keep saying, it needs to be simple, it needs to be lean, it needs to be set and forget. Once I've done it, I don't want to have to go back and deal with that same blog post in 3 months' time. Am I worried my account will be banned? Yes, I am worried my account will be banned. A lot of people have had their accounts banned recently. And from what I've been talking to people, they've been saying, I was talking to Fix about it, and he was saying that, yeah, it may be that accounts get banned automatically by Pinterest because they want to get rid of bots. But as soon as you get in touch with Pinterest, oftentimes they'll reactivate the account. So that may happen to me. I'm not sure. One way in which I think that I may be able to avoid getting banned is that I am using the native scheduler and not Tailwind. So Pinterest should be able to know exactly what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything fishy or off the platform at all. Pinterest can see everything that I'm doing. So hopefully that'll help me avoid getting banned. Okay, so why I developed the strategy. So obviously, as I've been saying, there's a whole lot of mess out there around 15 pins a day and all of these strategies that people are doing. I wanted to have a lean, simple strategy. I didn't want any ongoing commitment. Once I've posted my pins for that blog post, I'm not going to go back to them at all. I don't want any commitments beyond 10 minutes per post, done, move on. I want it to be easy, so I don't want to be having to keep creating a whole bunch of different pins. I want it to be very straightforward, and I think this 3 pins separated out by 7 days each is nice and straightforward. And I did want to follow the fresh pins concept, where I'm not repinning any old pins, because as I've heard that it's less and less successful. Okay, so what are my goals? So from talking to friends who have very similar sort of lazy strategies, most of them have found about 5 to 10% of the traffic across their portfolio comes from Pinterest. So that's what I'm going to try to achieve within 12 months. I think that's a pretty lofty goal, but I'm going to aim for it. So that should be somewhere between 25,000 and 30,000 clicks by December 2021, and should equate to somewhere around $250, give or take a couple $100 on either side per month from Pinterest. So that might help me to increase my passive income by a couple of $100 a month. And it's just by adding 10 minutes on to the end of my standard operating procedure. Once I've published my blog post, I spend 10 minutes creating Pinterest pins for it. Nice and straightforward. Okay, so now I'll move over to a demonstration of this strategy. I did this demonstration yesterday, so I'll just jump over to it now, and it'll walk you through exactly how I'm creating the pins on Canva, and I'll show you exactly how I'm putting them on Pinterest using the native scheduler. Okay, so here we are. You've probably seen, if you follow me, you've probably seen this blog post before. How to rank a blog on Google. It's this sort of fake blog post I made up. It's all written in lorem ipsum. But let's pretend I've just published this blog post on how to rank a blog in Google, and now I want to make my 3 pins, follow my lazy Pinterest strategy on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Canva now and create a Pinterest pin. So here we are at Canva, and at the top there's the search bar, and I'm going to type Pinterest pin in the search bar and click Pinterest pin. It's going to come up with a whole bunch of sample Pinterest pins. I'm just going to choose any. Let's choose the first one. Okay, now that that's loaded, I'm just going to make it as simple as possible. I'm going to make up a pin that's going to look pretty nice, I guess. It's not going to be the most amazing pin in the world, but it'll get me by. So one thing I'm going to do is, for this one, it's going to be how to rank a blog on Google. So I'm just going to type, for the first pin, that's going to be the keyword that I'm going to type on the picture. And then down the bottom, I'm going to write my website name. All right, make that nice and big. And then the last thing is I'm going to create a picture. So I'm just going to click photos. All the photos on Canva, they're usually from places like Pixabay, that sort of place, where they're free, essentially free images that you can use for commercial purposes. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to search laptop. I'm just going to search for a nice laptop picture. Try to drop it in there. Now my text is going to have to be a different color for this to make it stand out from the background. One thing I do like doing is actually inserting an element, just a square element, and putting it in the background like this so that you can see the image, see the text, sorry. So I've got that footer bar there now. It says nichesafari.com. And then maybe even have another one. Make this one white, and I'll just move it backward behind that text, and then I'll make it a little bit transparent so you can still see the image behind it, but you can also read the text a bit better. All right, and that's, it's not the best pin in the world, but it'll do. It's taken me less than 5 minutes to make it, and now I can download it. Now, I like Pinterest pins that are 1000 by 1500 because that's what Pinterest prefers. All right, so that's done, and now I'm going to make another one, and it's got to be a fresh pin. It's got to look different, have a different picture, so I might just go to laptop again. There's a guy typing, and for fresh pins, it can't be the exact same keyword. Maybe it can be rank on Google with these. I'll just do rank on Google with these 11 tips. All right, rank on Google with these 11 tips for bloggers. That'll do me. It's a fresh picture. It's a fresh keyword, fresh phrase. All right, and then for our third photo, may as well stick with these laptops. This one. Okay, and then again, look for an H2 or another way of sort of framing the same blog post. Okay, and then here's another example, how to optimize a blog post for top rankings. New picture, new text. Let's download that. Okay, so now I've got my 3 images that I'm going to use on Pinterest to upload on Pinterest. I'm just going to go to Pinterest and I'm going to start uploading them. So here I am at my Pinterest account. Let me upload. So let's create pin. Add my title. How to rank a blog on Google. I can choose which board I want to put it on. This drop down. You can use the drop down there and choose which board you want to put it on. Got your title. Tell everyone what your pin is about. What I'll often do here is I'll actually copy a quote that I really like from my blog post. Makes it a lot easier, less of a time waste. So I'll just copy a quote. Oh man. Here you go. There we go. Just copy a quote. Obviously it's written in lorem ipsum because it's a fake blog post. Add my destination link, sit in there. And then you can see down, oops, I haven't uploaded my image. All right, so you can see I've got my image, I've got a quote from my article, I've got my keyword, my target keyword, I've got the URL, and then I can publish immediately or publish at a later date. Just ignore that where it says URL is unreachable. I made up a fake URL. If I click publish immediately, publish, it'll publish straight away. If I publish at a later date, so for my following 2 ones, publish at a later date, I'll choose the date to be 7 days from now. So today's the 2nd of January, so the 8th of January will do me. Change the time, I'll just choose a random time. And that's for my second one. And then for my third one, so let me upload my third one. I'd get a different quote. I'd change my title. New quote, new title, same URL, new publish date. So this one will be the 15th, 7 a.m. And then I'll click publish. So they're nice and spaced out. I've got 3 pins up for each of my new blog posts. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave it alone after that. And then tomorrow, if I publish another blog post, I'll do it again. So there's this constant, steady drip of pins going up on Pinterest. It's not the 15 a day. It's probably going to be closer to 1 or 2 or 3 a day. Personally, I still think you can get traction. It's, as I said, it's the lazy Pinterest strategy that it's super simple. Just create 3 images per blog post, stick them up, 3 different headings, 3 different descriptions, publish them a couple of weeks apart, and that's it. Now let me know what you think will happen here. I know that some people here are probably much bigger experts at Pinterest than me, so if you think that I'm doing something wrong, leave it in the discussion below. But apart from that, just follow me. If you're watching this in a couple of months' time, you should be able to see my sort of updates on how I'm going on Pinterest, and you can see whether or not this has been a successful lazy Pinterest strategy for 2021.